Hey, podcaster. I'm Tim Wahlberg, your podcast performance coach, with another actionable tip so you can grow your podcast authority, generate leads, and convert with ease. Today's tip is follow the lead of these podcasts that actually build authority, generate leads, and increase the ease of sales. I say this every episode, that your podcast can help you grow your authority, generate leads, and convert with ease. But what does that actually look like in real life? Let me share two quick case studies. Case study number 1. About 6 months ago, we developed a podcast for a client. We ensured that the podcast served her business by tailoring the podcast to her very specific audience and the problem they have. Very intentional. It didn't take long before her show started building authority in that niche and generating sales. Here's what happened. 2 people in her industry were chatting about a challenge, and one of them said, "You should check out this podcast." So she did. She binged 3 episodes. That's it, 3 episodes. By the end of those 3 episodes, she knew this podcaster understood her pain, had the solution, and was the real deal. The call to action at the end of each episode was clear, so she followed it. She booked a call. Boom. Lead generated. And within 20 minutes of that conversation, she was a paying client. Why? Because the podcast had already done the heavy lifting. The client was pre-converted, and the call was the final formality. So our client's podcast built trust and established authority in her niche. This made her referable. Then the podcast, because it was intentional and clear, generated a qualified lead and made conversion a snap. That's the power of a podcast that's intentional and aligned with your business and message. When it comes to podcasting for your business, don't just podcast for podcast's sake. Case study number 2 is a little closer to home. A new client recently told me exactly how he found me. He Googled podcast coach because I've stayed consistent with my show for 250 episodes, same niche, same audience, same focus. I ranked high in his search results. He discovered my show and he pressed play on 3 episodes, just 3 5-minute episodes. And that was enough for him to know that the authority Google said I had was legit. Next, he clicked over to my website, saw videos of me that reinforced the same message and confirmed I was a real human with real experience. So he booked a call. Boom. Lead generated. When we met on that call, he said, "I already knew you were the guy. The podcast, the content, the consistency, they had done the work. The call was just a formality." Converted with ease. That's how podcasting builds authority, generate leads, and makes sales easier when it's done with intention. I don't just say this stuff off the top to sound good. I mean, I do sound good, but there's real weight to that promise. That's my promise to you, the listener. Build authority, generate leads, and convert with ease. When you podcast with intention, you can get the results you're looking for. So what do I mean by podcasting with intention? Well, let's run through the list. It means your show is aligned with your business goals. You know why you're podcasting and what success looks like. In other words, you need to know how your podcast fits into your marketing strategy. It means your artwork, your tagline, your show promise, your titles, and your content all tell the right listener what you do and who you do it for. It means your path from listener to lead is clear and simple. Your website is an extension of your podcast message, and the next step of your customer journey is easy to take. If someone can't tell what you do or how to work with you after listening to your episode, you're leaving money on the table. For more on this, check out episode 246, just a few episodes before this one. So the big takeaway here, creating a podcast with intention means knowing exactly what role your podcast will play in your marketing strategy. Your podcast speaks directly to your ideal client with a clear and consistent message, and your show demonstrates that you both understand their needs and have the expertise to help them. And it lays out the obvious and easy path to solve that problem by becoming a client. It's aligned with your business goals, positions you as the trusted and obvious choice, and plays a key role in generating leads and sales. If you're not sure whether your podcast is set up to build authority and convert leads like this, I have a tool that can help. Grab my free podcast audit by clicking the link in the show notes. It'll walk you through 6 key steps in assessing what you're doing right and where the holes are in your podcast as a marketing tool. It's your first step toward a podcast that works for your business, not just your ego. Let's take all that podcasting time and effort to the bank. When you build your podcast with clarity and consistency, you make yourself referable. You make it easy for your ideal listener to trust you, take action, and buy, often before you've even met them. And I hope that's just the tip you need. My free podcast audit is available to anyone who wants it. This exclusive video training will identify gaps in your podcast listener journey, help refine your strategy, and pinpoint where you can maximize your impact. I'm leaving the link for the free podcast audit at the top of the show notes so you can easily find it. You'll also find it on my homepage at podcastperformancecoach.com. I'll see you in the training. Get your free podcast audit by using the link in the show notes or at podcastperformancecoach.com. I'm Tim Wahlberg. See ya!